Good morning, this is Links. Very quick concept here when it comes to Lenormand, or actually any kind of divination, tarot, whatever it is. When the methods that you've been using seem to be too rigid, maybe it's time at that point to push past that for a deeper understanding. So for example, let me give you an illustration here. Let's say a client comes to me, or someone wants a reading, or you're doing a daily, right? And then you put down some cards here. And then, okay, so let's see. So let me say that, let's say that I've got this combination here, and I've got the scythe and the rings. Okay, so it could mean in this particular case I'm cutting a contract, or a sudden realization about a relationship, or an ending to a relationship, or maybe, for example, a brutal relationship, a brutal contract, a contract that cuts something out of your life. Or maybe you go, wait a minute, it doesn't, I don't feel that coming, you know, it doesn't seem, I'm not seeing that in the situation that I'm reading for. There's no contract, there's no relationship, there's no couple. So you're faced to look at it maybe in a different way. At that point, maybe you look at the playing card meaning. Okay, so maybe you got a jack of diamonds here, so it could be good news about a new project. So that's an ace. That's an ace of clubs in there. So we got jack of diamonds and ace of clubs. Maybe that's the way you're supposed to read it. Usually when these things come up, there's a million different ways that the information can get to you, and really what being psychic is all about is being able to grab which one of them is standing out at the moment, at least in my experience. So it may be that, you know, this literal combination isn't coming up, and people do it all the time. People come to me all the time and they say they have a problem, especially with something like Lenormand or cartomancy, something like that. And they go, look, I don't, this isn't in the situation. And it's like, okay, well, is the jack into the play, or is it really the jack? And so maybe it's good news about a partnership in that case, or good news about something new, or a young man brings new fire into the situation. Or maybe you have to go to that method that I taught you guys in one of the last videos, where you look at what's taking your attention. So it's like, well, there's a rainstorm that sort of interferes with your plans today. Okay, let's try another one. So we got the mountain and the rider. Okay, so maybe, you know, you're like, well, I wasn't taking a trip. There's an obstacle to taking a trip here. Or maybe someone's actually literally taking a trip to a mountain area. They're going for a hike in the mountains. That could be a little, but maybe there's nothing there, so you got to look at it and you're like, okay, this is, so maybe it's the 8 of clubs and the 9 of hearts. So, you know, the day is full of extra energy to make your wishes come true. So you're like, someone was really motivated in this day and made a real powerful impact on this wish that they're working on building. Okay, or maybe you got to read it that other method where you're like, okay, I'm seeing what's standing out at me. The eyes are standing out at me, and movement, and it's like, okay, so it feels like someone's not focused today. Well, they have to buckle down and be focused, and they're not focused today. Their eyes are darting all over. They're thinking about other things. Okay, so let's try this one. Or maybe there's another opportunity here, and I'll show you with this combination. Maybe it represents a person. So you're looking at this one. This is the bear, and then there's the whip. So is it an ambitious individual, or you have the space today to do the same, you know, get the things done that you need to get done? Are you motivated, or is someone on your back to motivate you? No, that's not really what it's feeling like. Is it a person? Is there a big person in the picture? Are you dealing with someone who's rather acerbic and or critical? So is this a big person who's critical? Or are you reading it another way? it really nothing happens until night, and at night there is you really feel motivated, and it's like you want to crack the whip at night to get things done, or you'll be cleaning the house at night, or so something like that. So my point is that sometimes the obvious interpretation isn't there. It's not working, and you have to really tune in to which one. So let's say someone came to me for a relationship reading, and they're like, okay, well, I'm in this relationship, and I come up with these 3 things, and I'm like, okay, well, there's the relationship piece. I'm seeing that very much. And I'd say this is a very cutting relationship. The 2 of you are always taking cuts on each other, but there is an obstacle to one of you moving out. But the obstacle is that you're both being stubborn, and you both want to keep in this place, and you're going to have to bring another party in to sort of crack the whip on both of you, and tell you, and sort of help you sort it out, because you're not doing it together. That's how you do it. You can do it with tarot and or playing cards as well, so maybe it's not. This is a really good deck for it because it's got some unusual tarot meanings. So let me just give you a quick 2 card with this one. Okay, so let's say we got a card combination here that's 20. That's my that's games. Yeah, they're playing. That's the game one. So this is games, in the house of games, and this is maturity or adulthood, motherhood, and the office work. So this is so depending upon, I usually with this one I look at which side comes up. So let's say games. There's the bowling, there's games, and then so you got this combination. So I'm like, well, there's no games, no one's playing games, or are they? So it's like it's about games. I'm not going to games, but then here's the work card or the adult card, or being mature. That's adulthood. This represents adulthood. This one represents games. So if we take it literally, you could say, okay, well, someone needs to stop playing games and be an adult here. Okay, you could do it that way. Or you could go, someone in the workplace is playing games, or someone is playing games, because I'm going with the work part here. Or it's adulthood, but there's also a literal representation of someone in the office here. See, so you got to be really flexible. Is it telling you what's literally on the card? Is it telling you what's figuratively on the card? Or is it saying, hey, I see a few people together trying to get work done, even though the atmosphere is one where it's jovial and they're supportive and they want to play. So this could be a work situation, or a situation where people are trying to get things done and they're keeping their desire to play. It's really important. So it could be a recommendation at this point. So I'm feeling that this really needs to be, I'm seeing an atmosphere that's fun and joyful and people trying to get things done. And you really need to maintain that sense of humor and that sense of play, because you'll be more creative and you'll get more done that way. Or it could be telling me specifically, I see that you're trying to get some things done. You're trying to be mature, but you're forgetting how important it is to be creative and play as well. Because that's going to be really important, whatever situation it is. And whatever the situation would be, say there's a woman and a king. Okay, so maybe there's clients that you're doing this for, say, for example. Or maybe in this case it might be because it's the king and queen of hearts. I might say, look, there's a relationship here between the 2 of you that you'd like to, but you're all adulthood, you're raising the kids, you're doing all of this stuff that's about being an adult, and you hear it all the time now. People are excited, well, I'm being an adult. It's like, but then you're forgetting the play, and so the relationship is having problems, and then the outcome would be, this is art and carnival, a spectacle. So it creates sort of a spectacle for people because you have all this built up anger about this, and it comes out in public as though it's an art. There's an art to the way that you guys sort of cut each other. So that's how you might do it. Just be flexible in what part of it you look at. Is it the number that's taking your attention? Is it the combination, the literal combination of the cards? Is it the literal meaning, in which case you do have to understand the literal meanings of the cards. I never I never discount that because sometimes the literal meanings of the cards comes up, and I also never discount the literal picture on the cards or one aspect of the picture. So for example, you know, in the case of the art and the parade, it's like you have public responsibilities that prevent you from being able to be creative and do what you want to do today. So that's how you do it. You look at which aspect, and then, like for example with the Lenormand, which part is it? Is it the playing card meaning of that card, or is it the regular card, or is there something else taking your attention on the card? And if you want to know how to do that, I discussed that in another video called How to Be Spooky Accurate in Your Readings, and I talk about things that stand out on the cards and going with what stand outs on the cards. So anyway, that's how you do it. It seems like a simple concept, but I think that sometimes we get very rigid in how we read and we see it. I'm like, what is this? This is not making sense what this is. Try it another way. Brainstorm, flip your perception or your view of it over, look at it from another angle, and then it might become more clear. So I'm Lucky Links. If you have any questions, put them in the thing below. I'll do my best to answer. As always, I'm wishing you success and good fortune in all that you do.